at least 2 military bases housing the US troops in Iraq have been hit by more than a dozen ballistic missiles, according to the US Department of Defense. In fact, the Iranian state TV had gone on record to say that this is a retaliation after the country's top commander, Qasem Soleimani, was killed in a drone strike in Baghdad on the orders of the US president. A statement from the White House, which goes on to say that we are aware of the reports of the attacks on the US facilities in Iraq. The president has been briefed and is monitoring the situation closely, consulting with his national security team. In fact, we now have a response from Donald Trump himself. He tweeted just a little while back that all is well. Missiles launched from Iran at 2 military bases located in Iraq. Assessments of casualties and damages taking place now. So far, so good. We have the most powerful and well-equipped military anywhere in the world, by far. I will be making a statement tomorrow morning. But this has triggered responses. Now the Federal Aviation Administration has outlined a statement and said that there will be flight restrictions of the US civil aviation operators with airspaces over Iraq, Iran, the waters of the Persian Gulf and the Gulf of Oman. Meanwhile, a Pentagon statement has come out, and I quote that now. This is the US Department of Defense press secretary, who says at approximately 17:30 EST on the 7th of January, Iran launched at least a dozen ballistic missiles against US military and coalition forces. It's clear these missiles were launched from Iran and targeted at least 2 Iraqi military bases, hosting the US military and coalition personnel at Al-Assad and Erbil. We are working on the initial battle damage and assessment. In recent days, in response to the Iranian threats and actions, the Department of Defense has taken all appropriate measures to safeguard our personnel and partners. These bases have been on high alert due to indications that the Iranian regime planned to attack our forces and interest in the region. As we evaluate the situation and our response, we will take all necessary measures to protect and defend US personnel, partners and allies in the region. So that was the latest coming in from the US. Let's talk about how India is now responding to it. This is a travel advisory which has now been issued by the Ministry of External Affairs. In view of prevailing situation in Iraq, Indian nationals have been advised to avoid all non-essential travel to Iraq until further notification. Indian nationals residing in Iraq are advised to be alert and avoid any travel within. Our embassies in Baghdad and the consulate in Erbil will continue to function normally and provide all services to Indians residing in the area. And more reactions are coming in. Iran's ambassador and permanent representative to the UN is now saying that he has in fact underlined that Iran's right to self-defense against any threat. It says in a letter to the UN Secretary General, in conformity with the international law and in exercising its inherent right to self-defense, Iran will take all necessary and proportionate measures against any threat or use of force.